earlier, he'd had a brief but passionate fling with a beautiful Israeli graphic designer who had lived on the top floor of the neighbouring building, and he'd lost count of the number of times he'd used the ladder as a bridge to climb the 15 or so feet to her rooftop apartment. There were even some nights when, on his way back, he'd stop halfway across, turn on his back, and lie, gazing at the night sky stretched out above him like a vast inky blue canvas, mapping the different constellations and dreaming big dreams. Once safely across, he pulled the ladder towards him and ran for the stairwell that he knew would take him down to the street. Although he was no professional, over the years he'd absorbed enough of his brother's experience to have a rudimentary sense of what to do. He could even hear his brother's voice. Have your escape route prepared. Rehearse it at different times of the day. Have a backup plan in case things change. He reached the top of the maintenance stairwell and yanked open the metal door. He was in good shape from surfing every weekend and daily runs along the Mediterranean coast, and was confident that once at ground level he could disappear in the maze of local alleyways. The neighbourhood bars and cafes would still be busy, and it would be impossible for members of a corporate security team to do anything to him in public. As much as they liked to throw their weight around behind closed doors, they didn't have the right to detain him or even search him. He wasn't afraid of screaming blue murder if one of them tried anything. If anything ever happens to you, his brother had once told him, you need to attract a crowd. You'd be surprised how many victims go along with their attackers out of a desire not to make a fuss. It'd be a different matter entirely if they cornered him up here, away from prying eyes and mobile phones. He'd seen what they did to their enemies when they thought no one was looking. He paused at the metal door to look across at his apartment. 2 men dressed in black ran out onto the roof terrace. He felt safe. There was no way they could get to him without the ladder. It was too risky to make the jump. And they had been surprisingly clumsy. The phone call had put him on alert, and the pizza delivery ruse was so amateurish he'd seen through it straight away. That, and the delay in getting through the front door, had provided him with a vital few extra minutes to get away. They might as well have waved a flag and sounded a horn to let him know they were coming. He pulled the metal door shut and slid across the bolt that would prevent them from following him. He heard a noise, not loud, but loud enough to echo up the stairwell, as though someone had dropped a key or a coin. Fear gripped him. He peered over the railing, his pulse racing. Was there someone down there? Someone waiting for him? His throat went dry. Had the phone call and the pizza delivery been a trick? Did they know his escape route? Were they forcing him into a trap? He pulled the bolt back and opened the metal door to the roof, a sense of panic spidering through every part of his body. The 2 men were standing on his terrace, no more than 20 feet away, looking at him calmly, as though they knew something he didn't. He peered back down the stairwell and saw a hand on a railing. Someone was climbing towards him. Shit. He didn't feel so smug now. He started to breathe more quickly. The one person he wished was with him now was the one person he found it most difficult to ask for help. Chapter 2. Control adjusted his shirt cuffs and leaned forward. Cooper could tell he was angry. Tell me again, Control said, his voice low. Don't leave out any details this time. My half-brother Freddy sent me a series of messages late last night. It looks as though he typed them in a hurry. The first one says, I need your help. The second one says, if I could ask anyone else. The third and final one says, I'm out of my depth. You've tried to call him? Asked Control, repeatedly, with no success. What does he mean, if I could ask anyone else? He means that if he could ask anyone else, he would.